At Boston College, lacrosse players are told to dream big. They're invited to set limitless goals and visualize the loftiest achievements imaginable, some even as big as this national championship banner. Last year, the Eagles dreamt as big as they possibly could and brought home a second national championship in program history along with a second consecutive ACC title. But with such success, some might ask, well, what more is there to achieve? In 2025, number 1 BC feels it has plenty of unfinished business. A searing start to 2025 has sent a chilling ultimatum to the rest of the nation. Either bring your best game against the Eagles or lose while trying. In a conference that many have dubbed the toughest to play lacrosse in this season, Boston College is sure to be tested on its road back to championship weekend. But yet thus far, the Eagles have passed with flying colors. It's a frigid Friday morning at the Newton Athletics Complex, yet the bitter cold hasn't fazed number 1 Boston College lacrosse's pre-practice huddle, as the Eagles look to remain undefeated to start 2025. For returners Abby Herod and Lydia Colasante, as well as Brown transfer Mia Mascone, fresh faces in familiar places have strengthened the synergy that's fueled a blazing beginning.
It's really cool to play on this team because every win just feels like a team effort. You know, like there's rare moments where like there's not one facet of our game supporting another. So like defense is making a stop when attack needs them to. We're winning the draw. Our draw unit's fantastic when we need the ball. So I think it's just coming from a lot of different angles, and that's usually hard to stop when it's not just, okay, they have an amazing attack. It's like, it's pretty well balanced, and girls really step up when we need them to. So it's been really fun to be part of that team effort.
Remembering every year, like this is a completely new team from last year, and there are people on this team in different roles from last year, and there are new people, like the freshmen are playing a huge role for us this year. So this is a completely different team, and I think kind of taking it on with that mindset really helps with the reset.
We're excited to have such a good start, especially coming back from last year. The pressure's on for the national champions to come back and have a good start to their season, so we're happy with it.
BC's national triumph may not have been as euphoric had the Eagles not clawed their way out of a 6-0 deficit against Northwestern.
It was obviously, we got off to a little bit of a rocky start, which is not what we wanted. We wanted a strong start. But, you know, that senior class was just so talented and inspiring. So we knew that they weren't going to go down without a fight, and we kind of all rallied around that. So it was awesome.
Team captain Shea Baker acknowledged that the comeback bid might have fallen short, if not for goalkeeper Shea Dolce's left foot. I know you were right there, national championship, watching Shea Dolce make the save, if that's what it's been dubbed now, in the national championship. Can you walk me through what that was like?
Absolutely insane. I actually didn't know how much time was left on the clock, but after the fact, it all kind of hit me. Yeah, the belief and love we have within each other is unmatched, and you can look to your left and your right, and regardless of the scoreboard, think we're going to win no matter what.
Despite Baker's confidence, an arduous road to championship weekend awaits her squad in an ACC that boasts 8 ranked teams. To play an entire schedule of ACC opponents and then go into the tournament with that experience already, does it help you at all for playing those big games?
Definitely. I think back, when you said that, I think back to Notre Dame last year when we lost to them in the regular season, which was like kind of a turning point for us. We were like, are we going to turn the page and go this way, or are we going to go this way? And then when we played them in the ACC tournament, like I've never seen so many focused, like my teammates and I, we were just so focused on that, so it was awesome.
I think it's a really, really cool challenge to get to have these opportunities to play such good teams in our regular season. Obviously, the ACC, you want to be the best in your league, so even regardless of who you're playing, you know that every team in the league is watching.
I mean, it's always a gauntlet, but this year with so many, new faces, so many graduates, every team is so different. So you can't really use the past to predict the future. And I think that makes it so much more exciting. It just really places more emphasis on preparation and scouting and, getting into the depths of what each team is doing. And the ACC is always such amazing competition. So this year's going to be exciting because you never know what a team can throw at you.
I think one of the themes last year of the many that got you guys to the national championship, both on and off the field, was to dream big, one of the team's mottos. What does dream big mean to you?
Keisha said to us, I believe it was last year, but she said, every day you're doing the hardest thing. You're trying to do the hardest thing in all of college sports. And kind of putting that into perspective of we are literally trying to do I've been dreaming about this since I was a little girl. And of course, practice every day is hard and it can be a lot and it can be very taxing, but that end goal is just so bright.
It starts with all the alums. BC Lacrosse wasn't much back in the day, and they all bought in and, really grinded to get to where we are now, and that's the only reason that we were finding so much success. But dreaming big, it means so much. I think it just speaks to the power of, if you want something, go get it. That doesn't mean you're not going to have to work hard for it or lean on each other, but I just think dreaming big with a group of people around you is it's so beautiful because anything's possible when you have 35 girls all seeking the same thing.
Whether it's the target on their back, difficult draw against conference opponents, or furious chase of more history, Boston College lacrosse faces a litany of pressure this season. But we've learned today that these pressures are far from flukes, but rather indicative of a perennial standard of excellence born from the big dreams of past BC squads. With the spring in full swing and ACC play underway, only time will tell if Boston College's dominance is to be matched by a familiar foe, or if the juggernaut Eagles can return to championship weekend for an 8th straight season, this time right down the road at nearby Gillette Stadium. For WZBC Sports from Newton Athletics Complex, I'm Giovanni Culotta. In 16 years donning the spoked B for Boston, Brad Marchand sure battled the Panthers plenty. At times, quite literally battled them. Entering the weekend, Marchand continued to nurse an upper body injury as he and the Bruins prepared for Florida to come to TD Garden tonight. That was, of course, until Friday, when the shocking news of Marchand's trade to the Panthers shook the NHL world down to its core. I'm Giovanni Culotta, here from TD Garden with WHDH Sports as the Florida Panthers, atop the Atlantic Division, come to TD Garden for the second time this season to face off against a reeling Boston Bruins squad. The Panthers, winners in each of their last 6, looking to tie their season-long 7-game win streak tonight. They have been red hot recently, and so has Florida captain Alexander Barkov. 5 goals and 8 assists in his last 10 contests for the defending Stanley Cup champions. But Florida without a major defensive asset tonight, as Aaron Ekblad was suspended yesterday by the NHL for a violation of the league's substance abuse policy. The defenseman will not be in for Florida for the next 20 games, so definitely some heavy lifting to do in the back end for Paul Maurice's team. Meanwhile, Boston 2-6-2 in its last 10 games, a widely different squad than you saw last week for Joe Sacco's team. Charlie Coyle traded to the Avalanche, Trent Frederick to the Oilers, along with the Marchand trade, one of the many trades that were made by general manager Don Sweeney ahead of the deadline. And despite the different team, the Bruins took care of business in Tampa on Saturday. 4-0 win against the Lightning. Jeremy Swayman with 26 saves in the shutout for Boston, along with Cole Kepke's 2 goals to give Boston a much-needed win as they chase that second and final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. As for Marchand, he won't be playing tonight as he continues to nurse that upper body injury that he suffered on March 1st against Pittsburgh. But make no mistake, the eyes of Boston are on Marchand's heartfelt goodbye to the Bruins tonight. The 2011 Stanley Cup champion took out a full-page ad in the Boston Globe yesterday, thanking Boston and the Bruins for the opportunity to play pro hockey for 16 seasons in this city. Florida looking to retain its top spot in the Atlantic Division. The Bruins 6 points behind Columbus for that second wildcard spot, in desperate need of a win to reverse their recent fortunes. From TD Garden, I'm Giovanni Culotta with WHDH Sports. Horn sounds, and that means it's time to come back to WZBC Sports Radio's coverage of Boston College women's lacrosse on this gray and rainy Saturday here at Alumni Stadium. 3:43 remains, fourth quarter, 15-6, the new score in favor of BC. Herod for BC versus Carr for Pitt in the draw circle. The official Kathy Russo sets it. It's between their sticks, and it's up into the air as the whistle blows towards BC's end, and it's indeed scooped up by Lydia Colasante for Boston College. Wading her way across the restraining line through the neutral zone, she fires it over to the left side for Emma Claire Quinn, and the attack starts at 3:28:78 to shoot for BC. Cycled around from Quinn to McCloy, now to Clark at the top of the 12. She saunters to the crest of the 12 and swings it over for McKenna Davis. Centering pass for Hasselbeck, dropped by Mallory. The cleanup from Quinn is a goal as she scoops it up and throws it in the upper bin. Emma Claire Quinn makes it 16-6 at 3:04. Impressive stuff to be there for the cleanup. Emma Claire Quinn just fires it by, and Boston College goes back up by 10. It's 16-6, running clock at 2:50. And BC has exploded in this fourth quarter, as they typically do, yet the game is well in hand by then. It was not as definitive today as it has been in recent weeks, but make no mistake, the Eagles have stomped their foot down. Back to the draw circle we go. Just 2:25 remains in this game, and Shea Baker wins yet another draw for BC, who are off and running with Lydia Colasante across the restraining line at 2:17. Dumps it off for Lapinto, and Lapinto fires it over the zone for Rachel Clark. A pair of passing between each other. 10 goals between just the two of them today, of BC 16. From Clark to Maria Themelis, now down to Emma Claire Quinn. Quinn to Clark. Clark overhand throw to Davis. And McKenna Davis sends Maria Themelis low. Themelis centers for Clark. The shot whistles by Molly Kane over and out of bounds. And BC recovers it as McKenna Davis will keep the possession there. From Davis, it goes to Themelis, now down to Clark at the right wing at 1:37. BC up 16-6. Centering pass in front, and Davis has got her first goal of the game. A beautiful feed from Emma Lapinto to McKenna Davis, her first goal after a 5-assist day, Jackson.
Yeah, I know. Beautiful shot right there. Obviously got the ball underneath. Good on the inside, goalie's right, tucked it low, finished the job.
And it's now 17-6. 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, and a field goal for BC. And this somewhat reflective of the last time a Pitt team played here at Alumni Stadium, when Pitt football came to play BC football and lost 34-20. Back to the draw circle we go. A running clock takes us under 53 seconds to go. BC will salt away a 21st win in a row. Already a program record as the ball flips into the stick of Maria Themelis. And Themelis throws across the zone, a floater for Lydia Colasante connecting with her defender. BC still on the advance. 35 to shoot for Clark. Clark swings it to Quinn. From Quinn down to Davis, back up to Clark, top of the zone. Clark shovels it to Maria Themelis, and Themelis spins her way out of a mark of Megan Sheridan and fires it up to Clark. 21 seconds left in the game. Lapinto to Themelis, now down to Clark, and over for McKenna Davis on the right wing. Davis fires it to Quinn, in front, Hasselbeck for the goal, she bounces it in, and that's the cherry on top! Her teammates mob her. What a special moment for Hasselbeck, as that's going to end the game. Hasselbeck scores in the red bandana game, and it's 18-6, that's all she wrote. A familiar score for BC on a walk-off of sorts from Mallory Hasselbeck to close out this red bandana game. Another resounding victory for Boston College, as the Eagles beat the Panthers 18-6 at Alumni Stadium.